program contains material of a disturbing nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
Mom suffers gross negligence during hysterectomy. As a single and independent mother, Catherine Akomlum was living her best life. She loved her job as a building designer and project manager and was very successful. Catherine, at age 51, was providing a good and happy life for her son. She had also found love again after surviving domestic violence in her previous relationship. She was healthy and looking forward to a long and blissful life, but her world came crashing down on June 12, 2019, when she went to the St. James Medical Center for a hysterectomy. During the procedure, she said a doctor accidentally used lye to wash out inside her pelvic area instead of distilled water, causing extensive damage to her kidneys and abdominal wall. Lye, commonly used to clean drains and toilets, is a form of acid and is corrosive to the flesh. Now the clock is ticking and she needs to do an urgent ureteral reconstructive surgery costing $116,000, which the Northwest Regional Health Authority (NWRHA) agreed to pay for. However, she claims the NWRHA is now stating that they may not be able to access the U.S. currency by the date of her scheduled surgery, February 17, ripping apart the thin veil of hope she has been clinging to. If the payments are not made by the end of this week, she may have to reschedule the surgery. As her tears flowed, she begged, "I am pleading and I am begging Mr. Terence Dalsing to please help me. Your incompetent institution has done this to me. Please, I need to live. If it wasn't for the surgery, I would have been normal and living a happy life. I am begging and pleading with you to help me to get my surgery, the surgery that Northwest has promised to do. How long will I live like this? Are they waiting for me to die so they don't have to pay for my surgery? Because of them I am in this position," Catherine Akomlum pleaded. The NWRHA CEO, however, said they are making all required requests to the authorities' bankers to facilitate payments. Just a shell of the woman she used to be, Catherine, who weighs under 90 pounds, now spends most of her days in chronic pain on her bed, praying that her nightmare will end. After being bedridden for 2 years, she can only now walk short distances, but very slowly, as every step is painful. During an interview on Sunday, Catherine, who was propped up by pillows on her bed, said her bedroom has now become her prison. Several times during the interview, she broke down in tears and repeatedly rubbed her abdomen, complaining of pain. And there were times when she had to take a few seconds to compose herself as she took sips of water. Showing the 2 urine bags attached to the tubes inserted into her kidneys through her back, she cried, "How long again can I live like this?" Recalling when her life began to crumble, she said she went to the doctor because she was not feeling well and was told she had an ovarian cyst. On her doctor's advice, she decided to do a hysterectomy because they were concerned that it was cancerous. "I was petrified because it was my first time doing surgery. I've always used the private sector to do everything, but a relative of mine who is a doctor told me to go to St. James Medical because they are best to do this surgery because we don't know if it is cancerous or not. So I decided to take her advice because I know she would give me the best advice." The surgery was scheduled for June 12, 2019. "I was petrified. I said my prayers and I went in to do my surgery. When I woke up the following day, the doctor told me that something happened to me. I could not understand because when I came out, my feet were swollen, my face was swollen. I could barely talk. I was really sick. I was feeling so horrible, I thought it was because of the surgery. And then the doctor said to me that they sprayed a caustic wash, but I could not understand what was a caustic wash because I am no doctor. Recalling the horror she experienced, she said she spent 2 weeks in hospital. In that 2 weeks, I was wearing Pampers. After I came out of the surgery, I was passing black stool uncontrollably. I was wondering, God, what is this? What is happening to me? Catherine also had no control of her urine and was just leaking like a pipe. While she walked into the hospital to do her surgery, she had to be wheeled out of the hospital in a wheelchair and in Pampers to go home. I came home really sick. I did not know what was going on. She depended on her son, then 9 years old, and her companion, Reynold Ramkinsoon, to take care of her. Catherine said she felt helpless, depressed, embarrassed, and confused about what was happening to her. They raped me of my independence. It isn't easy to be a normal, healthy woman, and the next day when you wake up, you are suffering from this disability and you need someone. I am always strong and I do everything for myself. Now I need help. I need someone to take me if I have to go anywhere. Only when lawyers stepped in I got answers. She went back to the St. James facility 2 months later, hoping to find out what liquid was used inside her body, but an official told her that the liquid was not sufficient to go for testing. Catherine said she asked if she could get a sample to take for private testing abroad, but got no response. It's only when my lawyer stepped in that I knew what they had sprayed inside of me, liquid lye. Lye is what they use to clean the concrete and the moss and drain. Can anyone really tell me what liquid lye was doing in the operating theatre? Catherine's worst fears came to reality as she learned details of the horror that was perpetrated against her and the extent of the injuries which are detrimental to her body and her life. Catherine said she was told it would take 90 minutes to do the hysterectomy. Instead, she said the procedure took 9 hours, during which pieces of her small and large intestines had to be removed. The part of my intestine that absorbs B12 was cut out, so I have to take B12 supplements for the rest of my life. Catherine later underwent a procedure to insert nephrostomy tubes because her 2 ureters, the ducts that connect to the bladder and kidney, were also damaged. Presently, I have 2 nephrostomy tubes. I've had a 3rd one that is lodged inside my kidney. The stent implant, they were unable to take it out in the procedure which I did in March. They discovered because of what is happening with me, I now have a large kidney stone, hence the reason I have to get the surgery done, because it could cause renal failure, because it is both kidneys. I can live with 1 kidney, but I have both kidneys in danger. They are swollen. I also have vaginal fistula, and inside of my abdominal area, the lining is also damaged. She said every day her tubes are flushed out and they are supposed to be changed every 6 months, but it costs $30,000 to replace the tubes. Catherine explained that her tubes become blocked and infected frequently. I am in a lot of pain. My stomach hurts, my back hurts, my head hurts. I am just tired. I am really tired. Catherine Akomdom initiated legal proceedings through Freedom Law Chambers, which is still pending. However, she said the NWRHA agreed to pay the cost for reconstructive surgery to be done at the Urology of Virginia Centara Norfolk Hospital because her case is unique and cannot be treated locally. Pointing to her 2 suitcases inside her bedroom, Catherine said the surgery was already booked and they were supposed to leave for the United States on Saturday. Now they give me false hope that I will go and do this surgery. It is just a set of promises and promises from this institution. They promised to send me abroad to do reconstructive surgery because there is no one else to do it here. It is the first time that someone's inside was sprayed with lye. As the time is approaching, now they are saying they don't have the funds, but they can find the money for carnival. The 20 million, and they cannot give me the money to do my surgery. This is a heartless and reckless institution. Without the surgery, I could die. Catherine, sobbing as she recounted her experience, said, "The nurses kept asking me if I was a Venezuelan. That was when they had the big issue with the Venezuelans and the work permits." Catherine admitted that she had contemplated ending her life, but she said her faith was what has kept her going, as well as support from her companion. She has also gotten support from attorney Anand Ramlogan and her other lawyers, family, and friends. "I am depressed. I have to live with 2 bags. I cannot walk. I cannot function. I cannot do anything. I cannot eat. I cannot sleep. I just want to be normal again." But Catherine knows that she may never lead a normal life again, but she is hoping that after the surgery she could lead a painless and tubeless life and return to some semblance of normalcy. She started building her own 5-bedroom home, but never got a chance to complete it. She was hoping to marry her companion, travel the world with him and her son, and provide the best education for her son. Instead, she said her son is traumatized and lives in fear that she may die, while her relationship with her companion is in jeopardy. She has depleted all her savings as she pays someone to clean her tubes and another person to prepare their meals. Chastising the NWRHA, she said, "They did this to me, but up to today they have not apologized to me to say that I am sorry. I thank God I'm alive to tell my story. This is a nightmare. It is like a horror story." Catherine Akumlum's medical negligence lawsuit is being heard before Justice Margaret Mohammed. In a letter dated January 27th, the NWRHA stated, "Whilst we note your optimistic observations about our client's ability to obtain the U.S. from its bankers, our client cannot guarantee it will receive the substantial sum of $115,920 by the 13th of the 2nd, 2022, and certainly not before the 31st of the 1st, 2022, especially as we still await the invoice from the hospital." Catherine Akumlum has submitted independent medical expert reports from a battery of experts who have all testified to her debilitating condition. Dr. Dilip Dan, professor of minimally invasive surgery, head of Department of Clinical Surgery Sciences at the Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex, has stated, "The resultant injuries to her ureters require major constructive surgery at a high-volume center. Her issues are lifelong, and even with corrective surgery, she will likely never return to her normal functional level or be pain-free. There is a serious risk that Mistress Lum's condition could deteriorate and significantly worsen unless she receives the necessary medical care as set out as a matter of urgency." Dr. Karen Sohan, consultant obstetrician and gynecologist, has stated, "The long-term consequences of the use of lye in this quantity and concentration will include chronic abdominal and pelvic pain and is expected to be severe because of the amount of scarring. It is expected that the patient will be debilitated for the rest of her life." Dr. Vinood Bandoo, consultant urologist, has stated, "Time is of the essence, as her renal compromise can become fatal if she does not have reconstructive surgery." Meanwhile, the NWRHA, represented by Ravindra Nanga, who is also the chairman of WASA, instructed by Alana Bissessar from Polanas Blanc de la Bastide and Jacelon, admitted that the distilled water was contaminated with lye. When contacted, NWRHA's CEO, Salisha Baksh, denied that the authority could not access the U.S. currency. The claim that the authority has stated it cannot access U.S. currency is totally false. There is an ongoing court matter involving Ms. Akamlum, wherein the authority has been in constant discussion with Ms. Akamlum's attorneys regarding her medical expenses, inclusive of any medical procedures currently being contemplated. Pursuant to these discussions, the authority has been making all required requests to its bankers to facilitate the discussed payments. The Minister of Health also referred to the CEO's statement. However, they did not say if the money would be available in time for the scheduled surgery.